It's Nolan. Artificial intelligence, I'm ahead of y'all. I stay sliding for chips like I'm a debit card. Got the world in my palms like I'm a hooper. Know the joints banging like Hoover. I coach out like Mr. Cooper. Eradicating my foes with flows plenty cold. Shouldered on approach, I came close to the semi. All these funny acting rappers get Emmys. Words matching like Shaq and Penny. If y'all don't see me, you're blind fury. I've been minding my business and take it literal. Took a step back just to shine more like an emerald. Alkaline water with minerals. I'm a general. The stove top cooking your faves. I'm rap emerald. Figaro how the chains broken. Got them searching my origin like I'm Beethoven. Blacker the better. I'm back black and forever. Your rap's whacker than ever. I'm raw like salmonella. My squad prone for the terror. American citizens, please hear me out on my reasonable doubt. / king of the south. Way I bounce on beats. Thought I was springs in the couch. Inviting these MCs to a joust. All I know is the people see me can think inspiration. The boy developed his own and didn't need education. Raised the heat like inflation. My fingerprints spreading through regions and nations. Got enough bars to appease for 3 generations. Yeah, I know they love it when I talk my shit. These rappers stay up on that bull Bill Cartwright shit. I'm on some legendary hereditary, saving my gene pool. Never shake hands with a sucker nothing from preschool. Who them boys looking in my window? Have it ghostwriter, won't you check up on my memos? I ain't gotta push a demo, keep it simple. The cash increase like crescendo. Attack the beats like I'm tempo. I'm steady like Cameron Campbell's my evolution. That Stein is producing like dude that made the crown and let the rules abolish. We cut the shit like Lorraine Bobby. Find a hobby, your rap career ain't the greatest topic. These boys scraping for change, looking like nail polish. Feeling brawler like Broly. I block haters like goalies. I'm hardcore in the paint like Mick Foley on Anderson. Target the internet like I'm cannabis. Banging on these cats like KG back in Farragut. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well this afternoon. Quick promo. If you did not see my live from about an hour and some change ago, after you watch this video, go check out my live where we went over Spotify's response to Drake and all of his allegations against Spotify colluding with UMG, giving them a 30% discount on licensing rates, coming together to basically promote Not Like Us over his music and causing reputational harm that he feels he should be compensated for, etc. We go over Spotify's entire response in that video, okay? Now, in this video, we're going to be covering Tony Busby coming out because he's written a new letter to the judge, basically responding to Jay-Z and Alex Spiro, right? Because they wrote a letter to the judge. They're saying that all of the inconsistencies in Tony Busby's client story about the VMAs from 2000, they're misleading, they don't add up, and they say it's a complete sham, right? They say not only should this case be thrown out, but they're also suggesting that the court issue sanctions, which are fines and fees, to Tony Busby for mishandling the courts and making a mockery of the legal system. Okay, that's what they wrote to the judge. And they want him to be forced to withdraw his filing ASAP. They even asked for an immediate court date, which was not granted. The judge still hasn't responded to any of the previous letters written by Jay-Z and legal team. So, of course, they didn't respond to that either. Now, another day, another episode in the soap opera. Just yesterday, we had Tony Busby saying that he's being sued and that Jay-Z and Roc Nation are behind his former client / former lover. She comes out and says he gave her a venereal disease and left her mid-area a little bit stingy. He says, this is them. She says, I tried to be discreet about the situation. He was handling my divorce case. He got angry at some point with me addressing him about, leaving me with a little bit too much than I asked. And he allegedly struck her with a champagne glass in the face. She says she has medical and dental records to prove it. He says it's laughable, and the people at Roc Nation and Diddy are behind it, right? Jay-Z came out yesterday And he basically laughed it off. Rock Nation says, we're going to get you, Mr. 1-800 lawyer. Well, Tony Busby then comes out today with a statement of his own. I will share my screen. Let us get to it. Damn, that shit small. Hold on, y'all. I had to put myself on the other side. Flip my mirror, cling like that. Cause I want y'all to see that. All right, we in the game. So the Buzbee law firm, he got that shit, boy. He got that shit big as fuck. So he writes to the Honorable Annalisa Torres, who's the judge presiding over all of these proceedings that we have not got to proceed to. And it says plaintiff's response to Sean Carter's request for expelled Rule 11 motion, Jane Doe v. Sean Combs. Dear Judge Torres, by letter motion filed on December 13, 2024, defendant Sean Carter notified the court of his intention to file a motion to strike and motion for sanctions immediately under Rules 11C2 and 12F. As with defendant Carter's prior letters filed in this case, it is histrionic in tone, but substantively groundless. Defendant Carter threatens plaintiff with a Rule 11 motion based on questions raised by one single television interview concerning events occurring 24 years ago when plaintiff was 13 years old. Defendant Carter also asked this court to alter the federal rules of civil procedure in his favor by abrogating the mandatory 21-day Rule 11 safe harbor period without any legal support or factual justification whatsoever. The former is frivolous and the latter is impermissible. So he's saying that because she came out and did this television interview and there were inconsistencies in her story, he's basically trying to get the courts to overlook that because it happened 24 years ago when she was 13. But you came out yourself on the heels of that interview and stated that you didn't properly vet your client, but now you're trying to smooth on past that. Okay? He says, defendant Carter's threat of a Rule 11 motion is frivolous because it characterizes run-of-the-mill disputes of fact as proof that plaintiff's complaint is baseless. So now he's saying that although her story doesn't line up, this is all run-of-the-mill. He's saying we shouldn't be paying attention to the fact that the story is inconsistent. He says we should overlook it. It's not proof. But they don't line up with the actual events of that night. So why would it not be labeled as baseless? Because if there was a way to corroborate her story and say, okay, they were at this house party, these people were in attendance, these people she claimed she spoke to were actually there. All right, that gives credibility to the story since we don't have pictures. We don't have any diary entries. We don't have any additional witnesses to corroborate her story. The only other person, she's on some Lil Uzi Vert shit. All my friends are dead. So what are we supposed to do with that? All right, let me continue. None of the factual issues Carter identifies are sufficient even to grant summary judgment in Carter's favor, much less support Rule 11 sanctions. The fact that the defendant or a potential witness does not agree with or recollect the facts alleged in the complaint does not and cannot give rise to a motion for sanctions for filing a baseless complaint. Defendant Carter's threat of an immediate sanctions motion to the first whisper of factual uncertainty is just one more instance of bullying intended to have a chilling effect on plaintiff's counsel, and any potential plaintiffs watching these proceedings. So he's now saying that Jay-Z is trying to bully me. But I thought trying to strong arm people for money with the threat of coming out with a lawsuit was a form of bullying. I know some people ain't going to like that I say these things. A Rule 11 motion is frivolous on the additional ground that expecting a victim of SA over 2 decades ago when that victim was a minor and as her interview revealed, also autistic. To have perfect recall of all facts is outrageous. So this is like a perfect storm for Tony Busby. The fact that he's trying to use that this happened 24 years ago to basically give her leeway for her memory being foggy. He then throws in her disability, which I don't know if that's going to be favorable in court, but at least to the public, when you say that, there's some people out there that will be empathetic and sympathetic to the fact that she is autistic and say, let's give her grace. Only thing is, to my recollection, there's many autistic people out there who have flawless memory of things that occurred, more so than the average person. They also have remarkable gifts when it comes to retaining information. But I won't use that as a blanket. I'm just saying I've seen that. Defendant Carter twists plaintiff's words when he accuses her, for instance, of guessing at the timing of events alleged in the complaint, such as the length of car rides. I mean, I could have swore in the quote from the interview, she literally used the word, I guess. But let me not. But New York courts have expressly acknowledged the plaintiffs in this type of case cannot be expected to have exacting recall and command of all relevant facts. And they use a case in which I guess maybe this was looked at in the courts, and they say, hey, they're not expected to recall everything. Okay? They say, we recognize that in matters of SA involving minors, as recounted by survivors years after the fact, dates and times are sometimes approximate and incapable of calendrical exactitude, and approving allegations spanning a 4-year window of time in which the abuse could have occurred. What? Y'all are given a window of 4 years? What? Let me not, because I don't know. I don't understand the courts to that degree. So I will continue. There is no basis for a Rule 11 motion here. And if filed with such a motion, would itself be subject to a Rule 11 motion in response. Of course, we cannot prevent Defendant Carter from wasting the resource. We cannot prevent Defendant Carter from wasting the resources of this court and all parties in pursuing one. I told y'all, these motherfuckers are gangster when they speak in these legal filings. You would think when it comes to court, you could be like a little bit dainty in what you're asking for, you know, especially you want to be respectful to the judge. These niggas are getting to it. However, Defendant Carter's request that the court shorten the filing deadline for his threatened Rule 11 motion from 21 days to 1 day is entirely improper. I also thought that was interesting that he would say that y'all forego the 21-day process to get that shit in today. I thought that was interesting. I thought that shit was actually pretty funny. Carter fails to cite any precedent whatsoever to support this astonishing request because there is none. Carter also fails to cite any reason why the federal rules of civil procedure should be abrogated in his favor in this particular case. Again, there is none. The 21-day safe harbor under Rule 11 exists to provide parties and counsel time to assess the objections being made and to withdraw or modify a pleading or other paper if necessary. The safe harbor period has been recognized by the Second Circuit as a strict procedural requirement. Okay? It cannot be shortened here because Mr. Carter and his counsel request as much, whether in an attempt to play gotcha or to exert additional pressure on plaintiff or for any other reason. I wish I had that Kanye sound effect. Gotcha. From the outset, Defendant Carter and his counsel have shrilly maintained an entitlement to different rules and faster procedures, from expedited briefing on the issue of anonymity and a summary dismissal of plaintiff's complaint to now a wholesale elimination of the 21-day safe harbor under Rule 11. So he's saying that they're trying to exert some sort of power or ask for changes to be made in the due process of these filings to favor them, which Jay-Z and his team have. But they're saying because these things have been done in bad faith and these are baseless, we should expedite this because I'm facing substantial harm from somebody coming out and legally saying that I did this to them when I didn't. Right? In each instance, the goal has been to blur the facts. Blur the facts? What you mean blur the facts? Y'all haven't presented any facts. The facts that y'all have presented have all been debunked. So where is the blurring? I'll continue. To blur the facts and rush a decision. But there is aggressive advocacy, and then there is bad faith. Mr. Carter's latest tactics, much like his open threat to refer plaintiffs' attorneys for disciplinary action, crossed that line. Moreover, outside of the courtroom, Mr. Carter has employed tactics of intimidation and harassment even more extreme, tortuous, and quite possibly illegal. All right, he's saying they're using intimidation tactics outside of court. He says, my firm recently filed a lawsuit in Harris County, Texas, that details how Mr. Carter's company, Rock Nation, and his counsel have bribed my clients to file lawsuits against my firm, threatened former clients, impersonated state officials, and engaged in other behavior far beyond the pale of acceptable conduct. Their tactics won't work, and they will be addressed in more detail in connection with the parties' briefing on plaintiff's anonymity. All right. So now he's saying he's trying to rush y'all. He's trying to blur the facts. He's trying to use the inconsistencies of my client's story to get this thing thrown out because he's trying to cover up what he did. Not only is he doing that, but he's also trying to intimidate me, my team, my former clients. He's trying to pressure anybody to come against me because he knows he can't win this. These are the assertions being made by Buzbee in simplest terms. Like Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter is rich, famous, and powerful. See how he does that? Tony Busby ain't no broke man. He's far from it. As a matter of fact, I have an article that was published within the last couple days, we'll get to it, that shows just how much wealth he's accumulated from being a personal injury lawyer that does these things. So we're not talking about a rich man going up against a poor, destitute plaintiff or lawyer of the plaintiff. They're about just as rich. They say Mr. Carter will exert all the pressure he can to intimidate and harass plaintiff, me, or anyone else. The chilling effect of those efforts is substantial, as is the potential chilling effect of a Rule 11 motion being brought in these circumstances. But ultimately, in our court system, the rules are the same for Mr. Carter and for the plaintiff here, and the Rule 11 safe harbor cannot be abrogated on his whim. Finally, Defendant Carter raises the status of any admission in the Southern District of New York. As with his previous letters to this court, his December 13th letter includes a substantial amount of defamatory suggestions about me, including that I am somehow attempting to circumvent the authority of this court to enforce Rule 11 against me. That is nonsense. I am a member of the State Bar of New York and am admitted to the Eastern District of New York. Okay, so he's coming out and refuting that he is not barred to practice law in New York. He says that he is. He says, I intend to apply for reciprocal admission to the Southern District. Okay, so he's barred in Eastern District, but he's looking for admission for the Southern. The fact that I've signed pleadings and letters filed in this court does not reflect any attempt by me to evade responsibility for anything. To the contrary, I have signed those pleadings and papers because I am lead counsel in this and other similar cases pending in this district. But what he did not address is why he didn't take liberty on certain admissions to the court. He's made filings and brought paperwork, but there's certain admissions that have not been made that they question. He didn't answer that here. But that's the statement from Tony Busby, aka Anthony G. Busby, to the judge and to the people, because at this point it's very well known by all parties. Everything that they say to the judge, everything that they say on social media is now being updated daily like NBA playoffs. So everything that they write to the judge is now going to be, and has been for the past week or so, tailored not only for legal speak, but because they know content creators are covering this very closely, they're making sure that their statements project not only in a legal way, but also to people such as ourselves. Okay? We're not going to go through the entire article here, but this is a new article that was published about Tony Busby, in which they dig into his wealth, his history, and a bit of about him personally. Because a lot of us don't know who Tony Busby is unless you live in Texas or you've seen his work, on local television or whatever. I'm sure most people are not all that familiar with him other than what's been released about him since all of this came into play. So we're going to go through a little bit of this just to get a little bit of a profile on who we're talking about. So they say the biggest, baddest, meanest dog in the yard. That's how he's typically described. They say Busby claims to have won billions in lawsuits fighting oil companies, maritime operators, banks, and insurance companies, and has cultivated an image of braggadocio and flaunted wealth. In describing his tactics and courtroom manner, profiles in American papers and magazines invariably reach for the adjectives hard-nosed and ruthless, dwelling on the shark tattoo he has on his forearm. He has a shark tattoo, which matches the shark motif on the tail fin of his private jet. Actually, both his jets. He has a big one for long flights to California, New York, and a smaller one for flights around Texas. And the shark-shaped door handles on his offices on the top floor of the J.P. Morgan Chase Tower in downtown Houston, the tallest building in Texas. He was once described by the Texas Tribune as a big, mean, ambitious, tenacious, fire-breathing Texas trial lawyer, and a fellow attorney has called him the biggest, baddest, meanest dog in the yard, a description you seldom hear applied to those called to the bar in this country. When asked about it, he says, "Oh, that's just somebody blowing smoke," Busby says with a laugh, tugging at the sleeve of his tailor-made Brioni suit and revealing a glimpse of a diamond-studded gold watch. Trying to make me happy. I'm going to stop. So we're going to skip Diddy. We know what the fuck Diddy going through. Diddy ain't getting out no time soon. Here he gives a glimpse into his perspective as it pertains to Diddy. But that ain't what we talking about right now. Diddy got his own shit. Okay? Now, when it comes to filing demand letters, which applies to Jay-Z, they say it is a standard legal practice in personal injury cases, Busby says, to file what is known as a demand, usually a letter outlining the case against the accused and offering a mediation to settle the case. He says he's never put a number in there. He just sends a letter saying, here's the facts that we have about you. It's confidential. We would like to get together in 2 weeks for a mediation that's cloaked and nobody can talk about what's said, and try to resolve this without the filing of a public lawsuit. He says people claim extortion and all kinds of silly stuff, but it's typical in these kinds of cases because suits are so overwhelming and stressful to the plaintiff because it creates a lot of publicity, which makes it even more difficult. He says, but I've not been sending these letters saying you will do this or else. First off, that's the way to get yourself in trouble. And number two, that's not the way I operate. I try to keep it professional, but the connotation of the letter still has the same message. Okay. Here they get directly into everything that's taken place with Jay-Z, which we've already covered in depth, so I won't be going to revisit that because we were just talking about that anyway. They talk about Buzbee representing a 9-year-old boy, I guess who was 9 at the time, who they claim was abused by Diddy at an audition at Bad Boy Studios, where promises were made to him and his family about a potential record deal. Buzbee handles a lot of high-profile SA cases. In 2013, he sued Stanley Marsh, an eccentric millionaire responsible for Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, featuring a row of vintage Cadillacs buried nose first in the ground. Marsh had an apartment downtown where over the years he SA'd a succession of underage boys. Okay? He says it turned out there were 30 or 40 boys still around and probably 100 over the years. Those boys were going in and out of the Chase Tower in downtown Amarillo. No one ever questioned why these boys going in there. He was hiding in plain sight. Buzbee represented 10 of those boys, and he says, in quote, "I took every penny he owned, which I was very proud of. I can't say what the settlement was, but I know that a lot of them were driving Ferraris around Amarillo. And you don't normally see a lot of Ferraris or Lamborghinis in Amarillo." Y'all might call it Amarillo. Out there in Texas, y'all love correcting me on how y'all say things out there. Y'all might even have a weird pronunciation for that outside of what I'm saying. Because y'all told me Bexar County was pronounced Bear. What the hell? A quote here, "The kind of business I'm in, you don't garner a lot of love." Okay, so then they get into his wealth here. Buzbee lives in one of the biggest mansions on the most exclusive street in Houston. There's a white Rolls Royce parked in the forecourt beside his wife, Frances' white Mercedes. He's lived in this house for the past 11 years, purchased from a man who sold his oil and gas company and went into the wine business. He completely rebuilt the house and sold it following a divorce, to which Buzbee paid $13 million. Okay? So he ain't no downtrodden, poor man going up against the big bad Rock Nation. Okay? Talks about an old case. "I was at a dinner here once in this grand house owned by a billionaire with a lot of oil and gas people. And I said to my date, I've literally sued every single person in this room." So you don't get a lot of love when you do that. He said, "If I had that case today, I probably would have got $500 million. Okay. They then go into his family history with his dad. They don't have the best relationship. I believe he smacked the shit out of him at one time. And they haven't spoken in about 7-8 years. Not saying this stuff to make him look bad. This just was published in this article, and I'm trying to just talk about the relevant parts. His first major case was an antitrust violation. Reading through a truckload of depositions in a case against a drilling company, he came upon evidence that nobody else seemed to have noticed, that companies were sharing information on employee wages to keep them rigged low. Told his partner they should pursue the case. When his partner hesitated, Buzbee took out 2 lines of credit to pursue it on his own. Within a year, he collected $75 million in settlements from various drilling companies. He said, "If I had the case today, I probably would have got $500 million. Among the settlements was 15 from the law firm he had been working for the year before, who were representing one of the defendants. The case was a class action, meaning he had to make an application to the judge for a fee. He was awarded $18.6 million. He's gone against BP, so he's not no stranger to going up against giants, corporate giants. What I'm trying to understand is the oversight in this particular situation with Jay-Z. Right? They also go into his flashy lifestyle and why he's that way. But you pretty much get the gist of who he is at this point. So with all of this going on, all of the back and forth filings, back and forth letters, public notices to us, we now have DJ that don't spin coming out issuing an apology to Jay-Z and Roc Nation, saying he don't want no smoke. The things that he said about Jay-Z and or Roc Nation in the past, he would like to take back. Only thing he says he will not take back is that Jay-Z got big ass lips, and that anything he said about Memphis Bleek still stands because he feels like he's a trust fund baby. But everything else he says, hey, I want to be a part of the team. He even goes as far to say, Drake, you're still my favorite rapper, but you on your own. Whatever issues you got with these niggas, I can't help you. I'm trying to get down with Roc Nation. Of course, I feel like all of this was said tongue in cheek, being facetious, but it seems that some people out there believe he was being genuine. I don't see how, but let's go ahead and pull up some of the footage. Now, of course, it's only going to be a piece of the footage because this guy be live for whole work shifts. So we're not going to play too much, but enough to get the gist of the point.
I'm like, yo, Jay is talking too crazy. But since then, I gotta keep it a bean with you. I've never seen such a thing. The lawyer who filed a lawsuit on behalf of a woman who claimed she was 13 when she got gangbanged by Diddy and Jay. That lawyer got more lawsuits against him, more allegations against him, more people turned against him than the nigga he's supposed to be suing. I gotta always give kudos, call a spade, and I always told y'all, no matter, I like to say Jay's a snake, but I say he's a great businessman. The way Jay has handled this case, I don't think there's a lawyer within 20,000 miles that will take a fucking case about any misconduct as it relates to sexual misconduct versus Jay-Z, unless you have it on video, 4K, Jay holding somebody down and fucking them. It's no way. This nigga is giving the beats to Tony Busby. I'm sorry. Let me explain even further. Tony Busby filed a lawsuit. Somehow, magically, NBC News does pretty much half of Jay-Z's bidding by exposing the person that Tony Busby is using to sue Jay. Expose the fuck out of the plaintiff. Jay, I don't know if he's paying people. I don't care what it is. Jay has gotten people on record who are claiming Tony Busby is encouraging them to file lawsuits, dropped them because they wouldn't lie to the story Tony Busby said. And today, once I seen this, I said, yo.
Everyone was shocked when Dirk got her.
Hold on. Jay got it. Sorry, we'll get into that later. Jay got it. Chat, I've never seen this before. Chat, if we talk about power, this is what I'm saying about this Roc Nation shit. This is some different type of power. That's why I'm bowing now. I'm good. I ain't got power like this. I got a big mouth, and I got a decent side platform, and I got the chat. And I know ain't nothing bigger than the chat, but there's definitely something more powerful than the chat, and it's goddamn Roc Nation. TMZ, who historically reports on the likes of the Kardashians, Kanye's, they report on A-list celebrities, ran an article about Tony Busby being sued for giving a woman an STD. This lawyer is not a A-list celebrity. We don't got to do math here, people. Roc Nation planted this shit. Roc Nation got TMZ doing their work. We don't got to do too much math. TMZ is running an article about a lawyer, saying the lawyer, hey, fuck what y'all talking about with Jay. The lawyer who sued Jay, he gave a bitch herpes, or I don't know, allegedly, or gave her something. It just says venereal disease. I'm going to have to read I didn't actually pull the lawsuit, but it says some STI. Nigga, when I seen this, I said, yo, Jay just turned the inquiry and the finger pointing at him that now we looking at the lawyer as the creep. The lawyer who sued him, we're looking at him like, nigga, maybe you're the creep. Not Jay. You're the creep. Look at this, chat. Diddy's accuser. Really, they should just say Jay-Z's accuser because same guy. Jay-Z's accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, sued for allegedly giving a woman an STI. He says it's a smear campaign. Now, I'm not here to say if it's true or not. What I'm here to say, if Jay could pull a reverse Uno card versus, if you don't know who this guy is one of the top 5 best personal injury litigators in the entire United States. Jay is treating him like it's child's play, nigga. Tic-tac-toe. Jay got niggas looking at him weird. That's some power, people. I'm sorry. I don't want no parts of going at Jay, Alex Spiro. Ain't one of, I apologize to all of Jay-Z's kids. Well, ain't one of them named Rumi or something. Hey, listen, you got it. What the fuck? Chat. Tony Busby, who's filed multiple lawsuits against Diddy and one against Jay-Z, is now accused of infecting a woman he dated with a venereal disease. Oh my God. According to a new suit filed in the New York Supreme Court, the accuser, identified as Jane Doe, says Busby has taken advantage of her since 2018 when they first met during an online conversation. The woman says Texas-based attorney charmed her and convinced her to go out on a date. She said she ventured to Tony Busby's hometown of Houston to grab dinner with him before they took in a show. After the performance, the woman says Busby booked a room at a 5-star hotel where he seduced her. The two allegedly had sexual intercourse without Busby revealing he had a venereal disease. Now, chat, this is why I'm telling you, I want no smoke with Rock Nation, and I issue a formal apology. And here's the next part of what I want y'all to say to go viral. Jay-Z, I want to be on your team. I want to be in the camp of the Rock Nations, because this type of power and this type of sliminess, hey, get me to a billionaire status too. I'm with y'all, okay? Now, I ain't going to turn against Tory, okay? I know y'all don't like Tory, all right? Tory's my mans. I ain't going to turn against Tory, but I got no more opinion on that, okay? Tory, you on your own, nigga. you on your own, Tony. Tory, you on your own, brother. Rock Nation's too goddamn powerful. I'm just bowing out. I'm just going to check out Peace. I'm going to catch y'all niggas later. Yo, Jay. See you at the brunch, gang. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't, nah. See you at the brunch, gang. I'm sorry. Chat, don't act different when I'm at the brunch. Sorry, okay? Rock Nation is giving this nigga a taste of his own medicine. Oh, you said I did what to who? Now we gonna put it out there that you burning, nigga. You got some incurable STD, nigga. I'm sorry, chat. We gotta make it to the brunch at this point. Yo, I need Alex Spiro on my team. Alex Spiro, my bad, my nigga. Okay, my bad. Okay, player to player. We straight. Okay, and Jigga, don't you worry. I've always said, you one of the best rappers in the world ever, behind Tupac and Drake. Okay, behind Tupac and Drake. Can't put you over Drake. Okay. Another thing. Jay, whatever issue you got with Drake, I fuck with Drake, but that nigga on his own too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Jay too powerful. I'm sorry. I'm checking out. I don't want no smoke with Rock Nation. Rock Nation Sports. I'm good. This type of power.
All right, y'all. That is the DJ that don't spin. Backing down, and pledging allegiance to Rock Nation without any payments or anything, only fear of oncoming looks into himself. So there's that. All right. Somebody asked me if I was going to cover that. I said, you know what? I will. I'll put it in this video and just put it all into one thing because I'm not finna spend all day on these nigga, man. But there we have it. We have Tony Busby coming out with his letter to the courts, which in turn was a letter to us, like I stated before, denying why it should be thrown out. Again, he says that the inconsistencies in his client's stories are negligible and should be overlooked and are not enough to say that this is a baseless filing. We got Akademiks now bowing down to Jay-Z and Roc Nation, saying he don't want no smoke. Anything I've said previously against y'all, strike it from the record. I'm trying to get down. But I don't see nobody having no sympathy for him neither. Not that I don't even think Roc Nation gives two fucks about him at this point anyway. But let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Much love and respect. Y'all be good out there. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.